Hi, it's lunchtime at our house and I didn't have much in the fridge today, and since it's spring and there's so many wonderful things growing outside, I went and collected dandelions. So actually the kids and I did, and we are going to make dandelion fritters. So I wanted to share with you how I make dandelion fritters. We make them every year and everyone just loves them. So I just collected these about 15 minutes ago, and I normally try and collect them and cook them straight away because I really love the flower head to be open in the fritter and in the batter when we make it. So I'm just going to put in all these dandelion heads. And I just tried to collect them from a safe spot in my yard that I know no one goes to, because I don't wash them off. I just use them straight away the way they are. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of flour. So I'm going to use a little bit of sorghum flour, and I'm just going to shake it over the dandelion heads first thing. And just kind of get them covered in a little bit of flour. Now, I'm going to make mine gluten-free. You don't have to. And honestly, a gluten-free flour sticks to the flour head a little better, and it does help it stay open. Okay. And so I also love to add fresh greens, and although I did not grow these yet, I will be. They are in our garden. So I'm going to add some fresh parsley. So a nice bunch. It's about the size of my hand there. And for the dandelion heads, I added about 2 cups worth. And I used the whole thing. I'm just going to put it in. I love using fresh parsley. It adds a wonderful flavor and wonderful nutrients. Okay, and then I'm adding green onion. And I took off the green onion tops, and I will sprinkle with that later at the end. But I like to use the bottoms. So again, I used about 5 green onions, about just 3/4 of an onion. And we'll put those in there too. Okay, and so I'll use about a teaspoon of salt. And I have this mix that I use in all of my cooking, and it is roasted milk thistle seed, a little bit of spirulina, a little bit of ashwagandha, and astragalus powders. And so it adds like just a nice little bit of a tonic to any food that I'm giving to my family or my children. I always kind of sprinkle a little bit in eggs, in soup, even in salad. So I'm putting it also into our dandelion fritter blend. And it does, because the milk thistle seed is roasted, it does give it a really nice smoky flavor. So then I'm also going to add about a teaspoon of garlic powder. And I'm adding again about a tablespoon of brewer's yeast. I have some white pepper seed, and it does give the flavor a little more depth, but it won't make it spicy because my children don't like too spicy, but they like a little. So about 7 white pepper seeds. Okay, and I have coriander seed. Again, I'm just going to do about a teaspoon's worth and crush it up. And a little bit of fenugreek. Again, about half a teaspoon's worth. Smells really good. Okay, I'm gonna mix it all and coat everything with it. Okay. And now I'm going to add 2 eggs. I'm going to crack them first. I'm gonna add about, I have a cup and a half of milk just in case, but I probably won't use all of this. So I'm gonna add about a cup to my egg mixture there. Okay, and I'm gonna put this aside. And I'm going to start adding flours. So I'm going to add, I like to do a mix of flours. I do my own gluten-free flour blends. I typically don't add any gums or too many different types of flours. I like to use just a few of my favorites. So sorghum's one of them. And I use, I'm putting in about 3/4 of a cup. And buckwheat flour. Now buckwheat flour is so tasty, and it really does give it really beautiful texture. It'll be kind of crunchy. And so I'm gonna add about 3/4 of a cup of buckwheat. And again, we're going to just mix it in. Okay, and I'm going to add a little bit of almond flour. Not too much. I'm going to just do a half a cup. And we also have arrowroot starch, and I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of that. And I also really like to add hemp seeds. I just don't have them right now. So while we're cooking, just to keep the energy clear, we always do a little bit of a smudge. And this is my kitchen smudge blend. Okay, so mixing it together. So before I add my liquid, I'm gonna go over here and start the heat. And I'm gonna put it on medium-high to start with. And I am gonna cook in olive oil. I'm gonna wait just a minute until that water comes out. Let's see. Just a little bit of water in our pan. Okay, and then add the oil. So about an inch. No, it's not an inch. An inch, I guess maybe total. It's about 1/4 of an inch in the pan. I like my batter a little more loose, so I'm gonna add some more milk to it. And you can do this with water. You can do it with almond milk or coconut milk. Sometimes I do use the coconut milk, but cow's milk is what we have today. Now this batter is a little looser, but again, it's still thick. And I am going to make it just a little thinner. Okay, so it's where I like it. It's in a nice thick batter, kind of sticks together. And it sounds like that our oil is ready. So now, I'm just gonna get myself a nice large spoon. And I'm going to take a large spoon And for your green, you could always add kale, cilantro. You could add you could add no greens and add just onion, white or yellow onion, chilies, and that's for a savory one. Now sometimes we like them sweet. So that's about the right temperature. And so we'll just let them cook for a minute on this side. And I'm gonna get myself a little napkin here. So with the oil, you just want to make sure that there's enough oil that while you're cooking them, they do float, or they will start to float, so they don't stick to the bottom. And so today we'll be serving these just with a little bit of leftover chicken that we had in the fridge. So we like them to be brown, golden brown on both sides. And these will not last a day in my house. This time of year, these are everyone's favorites.
Not mine.
Except Rowan. Okay, so again, I'm going to go over and get our smudge, our kitchen smudge, and while we're cooking, continue to do that. Okay, so they're almost ready. Not quite. We want to make sure that they're cooked all the way through. And you can always cook them a little longer and make them even more brown. Just depends on what you like, how you like to have your fritter. Sometimes a little dandelion head escapes. So when they're done, they definitely feel a little lighter. And they almost sound like they're hollow when you knock on them. Okay, so it looks like they're done. And so I'll make the whole batch today. And they'll stay good in the fridge for up to 3 days. Or you could freeze them for later. Because those dandelions, they won't stay out there forever. And we typically serve these with a little bit of butter. So come on over here. So while it's hot, we always serve it with a little bit of salted butter. But again, you could always make this even with a chutney, which would be a nice, even a spicy chutney, which would be a nice sweet and hot flavor. And you can cook this in many different fats. When it's available, we normally cook this in bear fat. It's wonderful. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We'll see you again.